Hello guys and girls, this is Jack Williams and welcome back to the Be More podcast. This is our third episode back since being back up and running. And today guys, I just want to go a bit deeper into the last 3.5 years, my story. Basically, we've just come back from a massive company event and it just really has taken me back through my journey. And I wanted to come on here and just share exactly what has happened really, so people can connect the dots back, because this is something I learned from Steve Jobs. Like, you can't connect the dots moving forward, but you can look back in your life and you can connect the dots and you can basically realize and learn a lot from your own journey. And a massive quote that I'm going to go off on many tangents today. I have no notes. I'm literally just going to share my thoughts this morning with you guys. And share the honest ins and outs of my story over the last 4 years. And something that I heard this weekend from one of our guest speakers, a really successful lady who flew over from Romania and shared her success story with us. She shared something with us. She said, in 5 years' time, you will arrive. The question is, where? And that for me hit me so hard, because when I look back 5 years ago, you'll either arrive in a well-designed place or an undesigned place. So if you think where you are right now, if you minus 5 years and think, well, I'm 29 now. When I was 24, was this place that I'm in right now well-designed? Or is it something that I've kind of just arrived here by accident? And I strongly believe that the event that I went to 3.5 years ago totally changed and shaped a new Jack, and it encouraged me just to become more, and totally changed the trajectory of my life. So I want to go back deeper into my story really, and just explain to you guys how I've got to the position that I'm in now, because I think sometimes you'll see people's stories and you'll wonder how they arrived where they are. So I want to go back, even as an exercise for myself, because I was actually chatting to some friends this weekend as well at our event, and they were like, so Jack, how did you actually get started? Because you was a massive skeptic. You were really against Herbalife nutrition, like a big hater. So what was it that Kev actually said that made you want to get started? And it made me think. I was like, a lot of people are probably wondering this. And I feel like I need to share it. So basically, guys, I left school. I went and played football at college for a couple of years. Because I didn't really know what I wanted to do. But I knew that I didn't really want to go and work somewhere and be told what to do. So for me, leaving school, I didn't really get good grades at school. I was never really focused at school. I struggled in a school environment. So I left school. I didn't really have good qualifications, but I liked playing football. I wasn't good enough to play professionally. So I basically had this college course that was like play football for 2 years and gain a sports qualification that could lead you into university. So I thought, well, I don't know what I want to do, so I'm just going to go and do this. And it sounded like a bit of a jolly up with my mates for a couple of years. So I did that. Ended up getting out of that course. I made a lot of great friends who I'm still friends with today. And it was a great couple of years. It was just good fun. But I didn't really learn much being there, to be honest. But I did get my BTEC. I went on to university, and I only really went to uni because it was the same in my mind. I didn't want to go and work in a job. I didn't really want to go and get an apprenticeship. I didn't really know what I wanted to do. So for me, going to uni was the easiest option, if you like. So that's what I went and did. And it was like a lot of money. Obviously, it's all done on student loans and stuff. Because I'm not from like a well-off family. They weren't just going to pay for me to go. I had to put it all on like student finance. So I went to uni 3 years. And once again, didn't apply myself. Kind of just drifted through uni. Ended up coming out of it with a 2.2, which is AKA average, really. But again, I gained some good friendships there, but I never really applied myself at all. And I think the main reason for that was because I didn't really know where I was going with it. Like, I didn't have a clear goal. The goal from the course was to become a teacher. I didn't really want to become a teacher, so I never really applied myself in it. The only reason why I thought maybe a PE teacher would be cool was because I liked the PE teachers in my school. They looked like they had quite a cool job, and they got a lot of time off in school holidays. So for me, that attracted me to that idea, but I didn't really want to do it. It was just the best of a bad bunch for me. But I always knew that I didn't really want to go and work for someone, but I didn't really know what I wanted to do. So basically I left uni. That was the point where I was going to go and do another year to become a teacher. I had to do another year, and I was like, I cannot face another year at this university. I need to just go and do something. I need to go and earn some money. I need to go and figure out what I want to do with my life. So that was at the point where I was really enjoying the gym at this point. I've always been someone who struggled a little bit with my anxiety, with my self-confidence, but going to the gym really helped me to manage those things. Like it gave me more confidence. It helped me feel better about myself. It increased my self-esteem. It made me feel better in myself, and it made me feel less anxious. So I would go to the gym, and that would be my drug, if you like, to help me stay on track and stay in a positive direction in my life. So I was like, do you know what? Maybe I could work in a gym for a little bit. And help other people to do the things that I've been doing and overcoming challenges in my life through exercise. So that's what I did. I got qualified as a PT, and then I went to a few different interviews, ended up getting a job. I thought it was a job anyway at a local budget gym. It was a pure gym. And I thought that was they were going to pay me a wage, and they were like, no, this is self-employed. You need to pay us to work here. And I was like, wow. That's different to what I imagined a job to be. But I was just young. I was naive. I didn't really understand. They said, well, you can either pay us £400 a month, or you can work 15 hours for free. And I was like, well, I don't have £400 a month, so I'll work 15 hours for free. And did that for a few months. And I was basically the worst person at working for free. I struggled to get there on time. I struggled with the idea that I was like, I've worked hard to get a qualification to go and help people. I'm in a gym cleaning treadmills or cleaning equipment, and like I didn't really see that as what I wanted to do. So I quickly got myself some customers who were training with me, and I was like, right, I'm going to spend all of my income on the gym rent because I don't want to work for free. And I thought I'd use that time then to go and get in front of more people and help more people. So that for me made sense. And then I was on rent as a PT for the foreseeable future. And for me, it was this was a temporary thing, but 5 years went by, whereby nothing really changed. I didn't develop a different vision. I did decide that I wanted to get good at what I was doing. I did do a lot of courses. I discovered personal development when I was a PT because I saw other people in the space doing quite well, and they were always talking about go and develop skills in nutrition, go and develop skills in strength and conditioning, go and do these different courses. So I just became someone who did that, and I got around more successful people, and it inspired me. And then I got to the point where I was 24, 25, and I was just like, is this the future? Am I going to do this for the rest of my life? And I wasn't really sure it was what I wanted to do. And I couldn't see myself. Like I was starting work at 5 a.m, finishing late at night. It was anti-social hours. And it was self-employed, meaning if I weren't working, I wasn't getting paid. So holidays cost me double because I wasn't getting paid whilst I was there. And I'm someone who loves to travel. And I just thought, there's got to be more to life than this. And I became super curious. I read a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and it was like, wow, this is completely different to anything I've ever read in my life. Maybe I need to start seeking new opportunities. And I attracted some cool clients into my life, some people that saw they were business owners, they were not employees. And just chatting to them, it made me think maybe I could own my own business one day. Maybe I could do something a bit different to just working 40, 50, 60 hours a week and calling it a life. And basically, I met someone who said, look, why don't you try and do something in property? Because that's what his expertise was. And I was like, mate, I can't even put together an IKEA flat pack. And that was no joke, by the way. No skills in that. And I didn't like doing that stuff either. Like it was never anything like I've tried it before when we moved houses and stuff, but I never enjoyed doing anything like that. And thankfully, my dad always liked doing that kind of stuff. So he was like, yeah, no, I'll do it for you. And he kind of let me off. So I never really learnt those skills and never liked doing them types of things. So I was like, I don't know if I would be any good at that. And he was like, well, it's a great way to earn residual income. And I was like, well, what's residual income? Like I was just so unaware of so much at the age of 24, 25. I was like, I don't really understand what that is. And so I thought I made the decision that I wanted to learn what it was. So I went back and I studied Rich Dad, Poor Dad more. I looked at these, I read them properly this time. And I started to look into other books. And I just started to become way more open-minded to anything that basically would help me to improve my life, improve my lifestyle, and create a better future for myself and for my family. So that was when this guy was like, let's do this. And I was like, mate, I'm listening to this guy called Gary Vaynerchuk, and he says you should have a podcast. And this was like 4 years ago. And he was like, well, what are you going to do? And I was like, well, I reckon I can, let's see, like show people the transition from a full-time personal trainer into somebody who's got a property business. And I'll do a podcast and a YouTube video to show the journey. And he was like, that sounds pretty cool. And I was like, yeah, I think that'll be cool. And it will show people how they can do it too and how they can become more, which is the birth of the Be More podcast. And he was like, yeah, sounds good. So basically we started this podcast, did a couple solo ones, interviewing each other and stuff. And I said, did you know anyone who we can get on this? And he was like, well, let's email some different people. And we were emailing like the best authors in the UK, like the best motivational speakers in the UK, all these really successful people. And they would just come back and they said, look, we would happy to be a guest on your podcast, but we need to see that there's going to be an audience there. Otherwise, it's a lot to ask of our time if there's no one going to be listening to it. And I was like, roger that makes a lot of sense. So we basically went about a month or so, we couldn't get anyone on the podcast. And then basically Simon said to me, why don't you interview Kevin Green? And I was like, who's Kevin Green? And he was like, he's that guy who comes into the gym sometimes in the morning with his Herbalife top on. And I was like, oh no, not Herbalife. And he was like, yeah, but he's actually done really well with the company and he's got a good success story. And I was like, what's really well? He was like, well, he's doing really well. And I was like, what's really well? He went, well, do you know the amount of money you earn yearly? I was like, yeah. He went, well, he makes that monthly. I was like, doing what? And he's like, Herbalife. And I was like, no way. Couldn't believe it, couldn't comprehend it. And I was like, well, I'm not really sure if I want to speak to this guy because it's against what I believe in. I don't believe in these meal replacements and shakes and shake diets and fads and stuff. It's not really my thing. I'm all about whole foods, exercise, train hard, and that's my philosophy. And he was like, well, why don't you just go and see this guy and see what he's got to say? And I was like, okay, I'm not doing anything this afternoon. What are you doing this afternoon? And he was like, I'll ask him what he's doing. And he'd come back straight away, he's like, I'm free. And I was like, well, this guy's earning such good big money. How can he be free? Surely he's busy. He went, no, this is the beauty of network marketing. And I was like, I became really curious, right? So I said, all right, I've got an hour free. Let's go to this guy's house. Walked up at this guy's house, right? And he lives on the beach in like a £2 million house with his brand new Range Rover outside. And we could walk in and his kids were there and they were really like posh spoken, kids who were at private school, really friendly. They're like, oh, would you like a drink? And I was like, yeah, I would like a drink. I was starving at that point. And then basically Kev came in and he started speaking to me, he was really interested in me and asking lots of great questions. And I've never been around anyone like that before, really. Normally it would be the other way around. When I was a PT, I would ask the person who I was working with lots of questions. Whereas he become really interested in me. And he was like, oh, look, I can make you a shake. I can see you're hungry. And I was like, is it Herbalife? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, oh, I don't know if I like that. And he went, trust me, tastes amazing. And Simon was there and he was laughing because he was already using the Herbalife products, but never really told me much about it. So here Kev comes over with a Herbalife shake and a Herbalife tea. And I was like, what's this? And he was like, these are like our core products that basically most people get started on when they use a Herbalife plan. And I was like, right, okay, so how do you have these? And he was like, oh, most people have it for their breakfast. And he went, what do you have for your breakfast? And I was like, well, I start work really early, so sometimes I don't have anything. And if I do, it's like eating it in the car on the way, and half it ends up being spilt down me. And I don't really have an appetite in the morning. And he was like, perfect. Well, most people are the same. And most people don't start a day with a balanced breakfast. I was like, well, is this balanced? And he went, yeah. And I was like, okay, let me drink this. Started drinking it, and I looked at him and I was like, is this a McDonald's milkshake? Because it genuinely tasted like a McDonald's milkshake. And he was like, no, this is Herbalife, mate. And I was like, it tastes really good. And he was like, yeah, this is Herbalife, mate. And I was like, is that all you say? And he was like, yeah. He went, Herbalife was like a $9 billion company. The products taste good, mate. You don't get to that kind of level where the products don't taste good. And I was like, makes a lot of sense. And I was like, well, what's this other thing here, this tea? And he goes, oh, that's great for your energy, great for digestion. There's aloe vera in there as well, which is great for your skin, great for digestion too. And I was like, okay. Drank it and I was like, oof, that tastes amazing. And it was so different to what I was used to when I used to just get a coffee all the time. And it made me feel just a clean hit of energy versus after a coffee, I'd always feel hanging. So I was like, I like this. And I basically sat there with this guy for half an hour, 40 minutes. Oh, I thought it was that long anyway, and ended up being about 2 hours. And I was like, well, we haven't even recorded the podcast, which is what we come here for. And he went, well, come back tomorrow and we'll record it then. And I was like, really? And he was like, yeah, I'm free. And I was like, so what do you do? And he was like, well, we've just basically built a network of a lot of people who love our products, and we built a team now that looks after about 2,000 customers. And I was like, 2,000 customers? He went, yeah. And he started showing me some results on his phone, and I was like, this is unbelievable. I was like, I'm working in a gym 12, 14 hours a day, and I don't have this many results. And he was like, yeah, but you just not got a better way. You just not found the smarter way yet. And I was like, right. And at this point, I was getting my back up thinking, I'm smart. But in reality, I obviously wasn't. And he was like, he started to ask me really good questions. And he basically said, Jack, how long have you been a PT for now? And I was like, I've been a PT 5 years. And he was like, what are you doing on this podcast? And I basically told him what I was doing. And he was like, well, how long have you been a PT? 5 years? I was like, yeah. And he went, cool, how's it going? And I basically said, yeah, really busy. I'm always working. I've got loads of clients. We're getting lots of people good results. I told him a bit about what else I wanted to do, because I still wanted to keep working with people. I liked helping people. I didn't want to come away from it completely. And he was like, all right, cool. So how much have you got like in savings and in the bank and that? Because he knew I was living with my dad. I told him I was living with my dad, and I was 25 at this point. And he was like, how much you got saved then? And I was like, I don't have anything saved. And he was like, wow. And I was like, I'm actually in quite a lot of debt. And he went, wow, how's that plan working out for you then? And it literally just stopped me right in my tracks. And I've got goosebumps all over my body right now, because I was like, wow, maybe it's not. 5 years working in a job, and I've got to the point where I don't have any savings. I don't have anything to show for it, other than a car that I lease. And I'm living in my dad's spare bedroom. And I've got lots of debt. And I spend most weekend pissed, and spending all my money on rubbish. And he was like, wow, have you got any holidays booked? I was like, no, I can't afford to go. And if I do, I don't get paid. And he was like, how long are you going to keep doing that for then? And I was like, I don't really know. And he was like, well, one thing I've learned is insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. And I was looking at him thinking, I hate you, but I really like you at the same time. And he was like, look, why don't you try and do something with us? And I was like, no, I'm not interested. It's not really my thing. And he basically just kept telling me different stories. It was never a pitch on Herbalife. It was just stories of people that have transformed their life in our company, in Herbalife. And at the point, it wasn't my company, it was Herbalife, right? And I was like, well, okay, mate, but let's just record the podcast. And he ended up telling his story in his podcast, and it just really inspired me. And a few weeks went by, and I kept doing the same thing over and over again. Insanity, right? But Kev kept just basically following up with me, popping me a text every now and then. How's it going, mate? How's the podcast? Have you had some good feedback? Do you want to grab a coffee? And this, a few weeks went by. I'm not going to lie, I thought about it a lot. Like, I was like, I wonder if I could go and do something with Herbalife. I wonder if I could maybe make a bit of part-time money doing this to help pay off these debts that I've got. So maybe I could move out and then live not with my dad anymore, right? So I just started to question what if, and I started to question what I was doing. And if I kept doing it, in 5 years I would arrive. Where will I arrive? Well, after 5 years of PT, and I arrived in debt, living in my dad's spare bedroom. Wasn't the place I imagined for myself at 26. So I was like, if I keep doing this, am I going to arrive in the same place? So I said, look, I'm up for a coffee. And I went for a coffee with him, and he just basically said, why don't you give the products a try? I'm not asking you to promote it. All I'm saying is try it. And if you like it, because you already like the taste, if you like how you feel, then this becomes an easy thing to do, because you're just sharing something you're passionate about. And I was like, that makes sense. That's why I got into the fitness industry in the first place. And I could talk about books that I've read all day long. I could talk about fitness all day long. I could talk about football all day long. So for me, it's easy to talk about things that I'm actually passionate about. So I was like, okay, let me try it for 1 month. I'm not posting anything about it. I'm just going to use it for 1 month. And it was just on the download. It was kind of secret, but I was like, I could do with a breakfast solution, to be fair. I'll try it, and I'll use some of the products around my workouts as well, and I'll let you know how I get on with them. But I was like, I'm not going to promise anything. I've used a lot of products before, so I'm not expecting this to be any different. And he was just laughing. And I was like, what are you laughing at? And he was like, this is different. Herbalife's number one. And I was like, right, yeah, of course it is. So I went away, took these products, and I started to use them. And the key detail is I started to use them every day. I made the decision that if I was going to try this, I was going to really try it. I wasn't going to be half-hearted. I wasn't going to be like someone who had an opinion of something who hadn't even given it a proper go. So I was like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it properly. I'm going to use it all every day in the way I'm supposed to use it. And I just started to feel loads better. Like for me, it was loads better for me in the mornings, rather than having to make something when I was in a rush or late for work. I just literally just stuck it in a blender, made myself a tea, and off I was in the car, and I was drinking it. I was like, this tastes banging. Loads more energy, was full for hours afterwards. And just by starting my day in the right way made me feel loads better. And I started using something like this 7-day skincare kit that I was using that was making my skin look loads better. And I was using some of the fibre products as well, which was making my digestion loads better. And I was like, I just feel loads better. So I rang Kev up after about a week and I was like, mate, I feel brilliant. And he was like, products are great, mate. I did tell you. And I was like, I just feel great. But I can't get my head around it. I feel like it's a placebo. Or maybe it's in my head. I don't really understand. He went, well, why don't you help a couple of people with it and see how, and ask them to give you honest feedback. And at the time, I just started dating Robin and I was going to see Mum that weekend. So I was like, right, I'll get those two on it. I was like, Mum, I need you to do me a favour. Try this for me. I was like, what do you have for your breakfast? She was like, nothing, maybe crumpets sometimes. I was like, crumpets? I was like, have this for your breakfast. And she was like, all right, I'll try it. Same with Robin. I was like, Robin, what do you have for your breakfast? She was like, Starbucks. I was like, how much you spend a day? About a tenner. I was like, you're an idiot. Why don't you try this instead? Save yourself some money and you're going to get a better result. She's like, yeah, I do struggle with my energy, to be fair. And I was like, perfect. 2 guinea pigs. And I was like, I need you to use it properly and I need you to tell me the truth. Is it working for you? If it does, I'm going to do something with Herbalife. And they were like, what do you mean do something with Herbalife? I was like, well, I'm going to get involved with it. And they were like, what is it? And I was like, I don't know, but I want to get involved with it because it looks better than what I'm doing right now. So I was excited. I was supporting them in their results and they both got incredible results, better results than I got myself, right? And I was just like, I can't believe how much better these are both feeling. And I remember Kev saying, look, you need to come along to a meeting. I was like, a meeting? And he was like, yeah, a meeting. And I was like, right, what is this meeting all about? And he was like, well, I imagined we were going to go to this hotel and all be sat like around in a big circle and everyone, it was like, I don't know, I was imagining it to be really weird. And he was like, no, come along. It'll be good fun. You'll hear some people share their story. And I was like, right, okay, have I got to share mine? He was like, no, just come along. So I went along to this little event. There's probably about 100 people there. And I saw loads of people up on the stage sharing a bit about their journey and how they were getting success and helping more people than I was. And it really pissed me off because I was like, I've been working as a PT for years and these guys are helping more people than me with just these shakes. And then they were showing the results that these people were getting. I was like, bloody hell, they've got better results than I've got. What's going on here? So it was just a massive wake-up call. And he said, look, did you enjoy that? And I was like, I did, yeah, but I still don't really know what I need to do. He went, well, just keep helping people with the products. Let them try it, let them go on a plan like you did and see what happens. And he went, and do you know anyone else who might like doing this with you? I was like, what do you mean? He was like, someone who might be dissatisfied in their work or looking to make additional income. And I was like, I think everyone wants to make money, don't they? And he was like, yeah, but do you know anyone? And I was like, I know loads of people. And he was like, cool. Start bringing them along to my house and I can talk to them for you whilst you're learning what to do. And I was like, roger that. So I started to do that. And we started to build a team of people that were like excited about their future and wanted to do something with us. And then basically a few months went by and I started making good part-time money. And I didn't know what I was doing, by the way. It was all through the support of Kev, really, which is one of the biggest things for network marketing is you get supported by people that know how to do it. Whereas in other endeavors, you often have to pay a lot of money for business mentorship or whatever. So this was all free and Kev was just genuinely trying to help me. So a few months went by and I was making at this point about £1,500 a month, part-time, doing Herbalife, right? No idea what I was doing, but loads of people were buzzing about getting results from the product. So I was excited. And I also was teaching a couple of members in my team. I say teaching, I was helping, but I wasn't really teaching them. I didn't know what I was doing at the time, but they were making some money doing it as well. And I was like, this is brilliant. People are making money. People are getting results. This is really cool. And he went, right, what are you doing next weekend, Jack? And I was like, wow, I'm going to probably see my mates, go to the pub, watch football. And he was like, well, we've got an event in Birmingham. I was like, Birmingham? That's miles away. And he was like, yeah, you need to go. And I was like, I need to. He went, you need to go. There's 2 lads are going to be there. One's from France and one's from America. Both are a similar age to you and both are doing incredible things in Herbalife. Both are 7-figure earners. I was like, 7? He was like, yeah, I had to work out my head what 7 figures was. And he was like, yes, this is serious business. And I was like, bloody hell. And I thought, what are they like? And he was like, they're cool, you'd like them. And I was like, okay, I'll see if I can find a way to get there. And basically we filled up a car and we went to this event in Birmingham. This was the summer of 2018. So by this point, I've been in Herbalife for a few months. I got a few promotions. I was making a bit of part-time money, but I didn't really understand what I had my hands on, to be honest. I only really saw Kev, but Kev was 42, had kids, and Scottish. So very hard for me to relate to him. Whereas I saw these young lads come out on stage and they were 28, and one was 30. One was from France, one was from America. And they were at the top 1% in this company. And they both shared their stories. And I was like, wow, this is what I want to do. And I just made my mind up. I was like, I want to do what they're doing. So I was literally studying their sections when they were up on stage, like taking as many notes as I could. And I was like, I'm going to go and do what these guys are doing. And I'm going to create the habits in my life that these guys have to go and create the same results. And they shared at the event some of the basic things that they do and how they're always looking to help new people, how they're helping their team at all times, how they always go to the events, and how they're always listening to Mark Hughes and Jim Rohn. And I was like, who's Mark Hughes and Jim Rohn? Mark Hughes is the founder of Herbalife, and Jim Rohn, one of the greatest philosophers of all time, and the greatest motivational speakers of all time, who worked with Herbalife for the main portion of his career. And I was like, okay, I can do those two things. So I left and I started listening to them on YouTube, and I started to do those basic things. If there was an event on, I was going to go. If there was a person I could talk to, I was going to talk to them about what we were doing. I was trying to help people, trying to create solutions for them in their life. And just, it was just an insane journey. Like, it's still an insane journey to this point now, right? But the next year just flew by. Within 6 months of signing my ID, becoming a Herbalife member, I was full-time in Herbalife, making more money part-time than I was in my full-time job. So I stopped PTing, went full-time, which was insane in itself. In that period, we moved out. Me and Robin moved into an apartment on the beach, which was bonkers. So within 6 months, I totally changed my life. I was living in my dad's spare bedroom, and then I was living in an amazing apartment on the beach, earning more money than I'd ever earned before, helping more people than I'd ever helped before. And I was just starting in this journey of entrepreneurship around successful people all the time. And I was like, this is mental. And I was just loving it. Robin followed me closely behind. She also quit her job. We started doing this full time together, which was insane. Just we were like best friends, building this together. And just like, let's travel the world doing this. And we were like, this is the coolest life ever. And then all of a sudden, pandemic hit, and we were like, oh my God, we're stuck inside. We're stuck inside. We were kind of used to being indoors anyway, because we always work from home. But in the first 18 months of doing Herbalife, where we was at all these different events, we developed an understanding of network marketing way greater than what we started. And we were like, we're ready to go and build this now. We're ready to go and take this to the next level. Because we were earning good money, but it was like there was so much more for us to go and chase. And not just in terms of income, but in terms of impact, in terms of just becoming the best versions of ourselves. And we were like, right, let's just work hard while we're locked down. We're not going to get this time again. And we 5x'd our business in the space of a few months. It was just crazy, helping so many people while they were locked in to be healthier, to do home workouts, to use our products, to be part of a supportive community. And yeah, just was the most insane time. Was able to earn a lot of money, help a lot of people, was able to use that money to then help my family, and just basically achieved a lot of the goals that I set out to achieve. And it was crazy. And then all of a sudden, I found myself back in that arena this weekend after 20 months of no events, because of obviously the circumstances we found ourselves in. And I was just sat there thinking, like, when I first came to these events, I was sat at the back of the room and I could barely see the person on stage because it's that big an arena, right? Whereas now I'm at the front, because it's like tiered seatings. The people at the front are the people at the higher levels. And now I'm sat literally front row, and I just felt so grateful, so excited, and yeah, just quite emotional really. And I came home from the event Sunday night, learned tons, got inspired, come back and I was like, I'm just emotionally done. Like, I had to have like a massive sleep. Yesterday was just brain fog, just because of the energy, I think, in the room was so high. And then to have not had that for 20 months, where we've just been indoors, me and Robin just doing our little thing, it was just insane. So now I've got some clarity in my mind. I thought I'm going to do a podcast, share some of the details of my story, just to anyone out there who it may inspire. And now I'll go back to the quote. So in 5 years' time, you will arrive. Now you can either arrive at a well-designed destination or an undesigned destination. Now, the only things that matter are what you go and do daily. So what habits can you put in place to ensure that in 5 years' time, I want you to think to yourself, how old will you be in 5 years? The time's going to pass anyway, right? The time's going to pass anyway. What habits can you put into your day that will enable you to achieve your desired goal? So for most people, the easiest thing to think of when it comes to a habit is brushing your teeth, right? Brush your teeth. Therefore, in the next 5 years, if you do it twice a day, there's a good chance your teeth will still be good, right? If you don't brush your teeth, in 5 years' time, they will probably be falling out and they will look minging, right? So that's an example of a habit and how that can create a desired result. In 5 years, your teeth will arrive. The question is, where, in what state, right? And it's based on, do you brush, do you floss, do you do your thing, right? Same when it comes to finances, same when it comes to your health, your fitness. What habits are you going to put in place that you do daily? They haven't got to be big things. But I'm listening to, I'm watching Will Smith's documentary on YouTube at the minute about how he's trying to get into the best shape of his life. And he speaks about just each and every day, lay one brick. Lay one brick each and every day as best as you can possibly lay it. And in time, you'll have a wall. Right? It's the same with any of your goals. It's creating these habits in your life that help you to achieve those goals. So in 5 years, you arrive at a well-designed place. So just in closing, I want you to spend a bit of time at the end of this podcast just to really use your imagination, think to yourself, maybe shut your eyes. Where do you want to be in 5 years' time? Where do you want to arrive? How do you want your life to look like? How would your family look like? What does your house look like? What do your cars look like? What's your health? What's your fitness levels? What's your financial state? But where are you going to be? What is the goal? Where do you want to be? And then from there, you can work backwards and be like, right, cool, that's my goal. This is the things that I need to do daily in order for it to happen. And fall in love with the journey. Fall in love with the process of getting that little bit better. And laying that brick well each day and getting closer to where you want to be. Because that's what it's all about. It's about growth. It's about contribution. It's about becoming the best version of yourself. So guys, I really appreciate you all. Thank you so much for listening to these podcasts. It would mean the world to me if you could share this on your social media, on your Instagram story or whatever, and tag me in it. And also, if you're listening to this on a platform where you can leave a review, please do, because it really helps to basically let the platform know that there's some good stuff in this so more people can potentially hear it, so they can create similar kind of breakthroughs to what I did. Because 4 or 5 years ago, I was not in a good space, and it was actually podcasts that have really helped me in my life to become more open-minded, to help me to shape my decisions in a better way. Podcasts, audiobooks, books, seminars, events that have massively changed the trajectory of my life. So be a good person and share this with someone, or share this or review it so other people can get access to it, because it might be the little details that can help them to make better decisions to change the future for them. And if we can all just become the best version of ourselves, we can all make this world a better place to live in. Thanks very much, guys and girls. I'll be back soon. I appreciate you all. Take care.